So now you know we are up for answering our questions. Each candidate has 2 minutes to answer the questions, and then after that there will be a 30-second rebuttal. So the first question, Societies of Dalhousie are official organizations of the union. Recently, Dalhousie's president, Dr. Tom Travis, created a draft strategic focus for 2010 to 2013, in which he says we need to support student societies more effectively at both the university and faculty level. What do you see as the positive and negative aspects of the university plan to have more direct contact with societies? And the first question goes to Greg.
First of all, I call it BS, because honestly our university, and in terms of our education, a lot of the time doesn't even know what courses to offer us. At least that's been my experience in the management and econ departments. I think that the advocacy for students that's claimed by the union and the elected representatives every single year is complete BS, because how can they advocate? You know, there's 5 executives, there's approximately 15,000 students. How can one person claim to advocate effectively for 3,000 other students? Especially when they're sitting in their office all day, or they're sitting in committee meetings, or they're sitting in board of governor meetings, or this or that. So I think that the best way to increase I guess the empowerment and the motivation of societies to actually go out and get involved, get you people involved, is to actually start talking, polling, surveying, and giving you people incentive to get involved not only with your university, but with your union, for the sake of building, you know, school pride, the school community. And all the sports teams complain that there's not enough of us that show up to the meetings. That, you know, all the societies complain that there's not enough members in their societies, and the reason is we're all disconnected. We're all in our little silos. And so I personally think that if they want to address issues with this university, and all of us as students, they need to create policies that help to break down the silos between us, between departments, between societies, between interest groups, between political groups, and that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Greg. Next up we have Chris.
I think it's great that the faculty and administration wants to get more involved with student societies. As a learning institution, that's what Dalhousie is all about, is the interaction between students and faculties. And I think that through the student societies, that interaction can improve a lot. I know some of my best learning experiences in engineering have been through going out for a beer with one of my professors after class and getting to have those informal discussions that are really important and don't happen inside the classroom. And it's really opened up a lot of doors for me, both in my personal and professional lives. I think that the administration can really help us with communications. A big issue that we've had this year with the election has been getting our posters into academic buildings so that students can become aware of what's going on campus. And this isn't restricted just to the elections. This happens for events all year long. So if we can get support from administration and faculty to be able to better communicate with students, in the university buildings, that's going to be a huge bonus for students. I still think it's really important that we need to ensure that student societies are student societies run by students, controlled by students, without any oversight from the faculty, limiting them from doing the things they want to do. That's certainly something to keep an eye on. But I think it's great that the university administration wants to get involved with student societies and student life on campus.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And Neil.
I think, referring to the vision, I think that the most important thing to realize is that you talked about both supporting student societies and getting directly involved. And I think we really have to make sure that we differentiate between the two, because I think that support is absolutely necessary. I think the direct involvement is something quite different, and I don't think that's how it's worded in the strategic vision. For me personally, I think that's fantastic if we make sure that we refer to this as support. I think that the university towards the unions, as well as the student union towards the society as well, has a huge responsibility to be supportive of the people who are passionate about what they're doing and to be able to support their initiatives. This doesn't necessarily mean direct involvement, and which is why I'm against starting extra groups, or even getting the student union, the DSU, more involved in societies in particular, because I think people are quite busy and really need to have control over their own societies to begin with. So, I agree with both of these guys on certain points. I think that we have to break down the silos. I think that the societies are absolutely integral, but I think that we really have to make sure that we word this properly, that this is about support, this is about encouragement, and this is about empowering the people who are already doing what they care about, and trying to break down the barriers between them, but as people need, because engineers have one of the strongest societies on campus, and they quite frankly don't need to break down all of these barriers all at once. They need to keep doing what they're doing, they need to make associations as they can, and they need to keep showing pride, school spirit, and giving the university the reputation that it has, and improving upon that. So, that's all on that one.
Thanks, Neil. Greg, you have an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal.
I just have a question of why is there an issue with support from the faculty and from the administration of this university? Obviously, it's because we're considered a joke as a union by faculty and by administration. In my opinion, I think we're considered a joke by students in general. And I think that the root at fixing the problems of this union is to actually create a stick for the union, which is student involvement.
Thank you. And Chris?
I'd have to disagree with Greg and say that I don't think we're considered a joke, and I don't think we are a joke. We do have a good relationship with the university administration right now, and that's something that we need to continue. And I just think it's important that we come up with what the university administration wants and what we want, and we work together to accomplish those goals. And so that's things like communication, things like having them support societies and faculty more, societies and the student union more in their communication efforts. And these are things that can definitely happen next year. Thanks.
And Neil?
I agree that we need to have a strong working relationship with the administration. I would say that we have to really remember that in a certain way, there are 15% of us, everybody in this room is involved, everybody is part of the university. It is kind of a joke that 85% of people don't care. That's a really big deal, and so until we address that, it really doesn't matter how close we are to the administration, we're not close enough to each other and to the student body.
Absolutely.